What's good, my people? Welcome back to EMGM Sports, your favorite channel for boxing news, MMA, entertainment, and anything in between that. I'm your boy, your host, Enzo. How's everyone doing? Now, it looks like my boy, Terrence Crawford, he's going to be getting his wish granted to him. Do you know what I mean? It looks like Turkey Ala Sheikh is moving in quick to make this Canelo fight happen. Do you know what I mean? What I've been reading online and what I've seen is that the fight is going to take place in September at 168 pounds with no rehydration clause, which is crazy. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely crazy, but you have to respect Terrence Crawford for wanting to challenge himself, wanting to cement his name in history. Do you know what I mean? He wants to go down as one of the greatest fighters of all time, which I don't really think that Terrence Crawford has to challenge Canelo in order for his name to be cemented in history. I feel like him being undisputed at two divisions in boxing is enough. Do you know what I mean? Like for me, Crawford has proven himself. We all know how great of a fighter he is. Very, very highly skilled, elite, pure boxer. Do you know what I mean? We all love Terrence Crawford and the skills that he possesses and the showcase that he shows us all the time when he steps into the ring. Do you know what I mean? Terrence Crawford is the real deal. We love him. Do you know what I mean? And he's one of my favorite fighters of all time. But I don't think like Terrence Crawford has to fight Canelo to prove himself. But obviously the fighter feels different. He wants to go up and challenge Canelo. But for me, it's crazy. 168 pounds super middleweight. Like that's crazy. That's giving Canelo all the advantages. Canelo's gonna be in his comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? Canelo, there's no rehydration clause. Canelo can just come in, I don't know, super heavy on fight night. And for me, that's almost like a suicide mission from Terrence Crawford. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and say it's mission impossible, but what I'm just saying is, yeah, there's weight classes for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Like we've seen other fighters move up in the past and be very successful, and we've seen other fighters move up and not be so successful. Do you know what I mean? Like we've seen Kell Brook move up and absolutely go his face broken by Triple G. Yeah. Amir Khan moved up, go flattened out by Canelo. Even though Amir Khan did do well, like for the first 6 rounds, Amir Khan was boxing well. Do you know what I mean? He was sticking and moving. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't standing around for him to get absolutely blasted by Canelo. But we saw the size difference does make a difference in a fight. Do you know what I mean? Because eventually, as the smaller guy slows down, once we get to that middle rounds, your speed goes a little bit, you will get flattened. Do you know what I mean? You will get flattened once the bigger guy starts cutting off the ring, start getting the measure of you, start finding the range, the distance and everything like that. Once they start landing, the smaller guy is always in trouble. Now, Terrence Crawford, man, coming all the way up from 140. I think he started at what, 135, Terrence Crawford? Do you know what I mean? Like coming all the way up to the welterweight divisions, obviously junior middleweight at 154, yeah. Now you're asking Terrence Crawford to go all the way up to super middleweight. For me, that's crazy, man. That is crazy. And I'm worried for Terrence Crawford. As a Terrence Crawford fan, I'm worried because I don't want to see him take unnecessary damage. I don't want to see him get flattened out because I feel like that's what Canelo will do, man. Like, I don't know how you feel about these fights, but as much as he's exciting for a lot of the casuals, because let's be honest here, Canelo Alverez has a big fan base around the world, especially with the Mexicans. Like in North America, Canelo Alverez is massive. So this fight is gonna bring the purists. It's gonna bring the casuals and the pay-per-view buys. It's gonna be crazy. I'm interested to see what type of records they're gonna break. The gate receipts, mad. Both fighters are gonna be paid handsomely. Do you know what I mean? Like Terrence Crawford is not just challenging Canelo for the sake of a payday. No, I don't believe that. Obviously, he's gonna be paid nicely by Turkey Ala Sheikh. He's gonna make good money. But obviously, he wants it for the legacy. Do you know what I mean? He wants it for the legacy. Both fighters will get paid handsomely. But Canelo's one of those fighters that he's not a paper champ, is he, Canelo? Like over 60 professional fights. Yeah, I don't know. He's got like 62 fights, however many fights Canelo's had. Yeah, and Canelo has been in some very big fights. You know, let me just name a few. He's been in there against Floyd Mayweather. He's been in there against Triple G 3 times. He's been in there against Miguel Cotto. He's been there against Shane Mosley. Like Canelo, he's fought so many different styles. Yeah, he's fought all different kinds of fighters. Like you're not gonna show Canelo anything new. Do you know what I mean? Canelo is fought with the pure boxers, with highly skilled boxers, aggressive boxers, slow punches, tall fighters, short boxers. Like Canelo, the variety of fighters that Canelo has fought, like is just incredible. And the caliber of fighter. That's why I'm worried about Terrence Crawford. Do you know what I mean? Because if Canelo was one of those paper champs, you know them guys that just got there because their previous champ was a bum. Do you know what I mean? And they got lucky, they were in the right place, right time, and they won the title. I would like be giving like Terrence Crawford some a bit more of a chance in this fight. Do you know what I mean? But Canelo's not one of those guys. He's got so much experience for a fight that's only 34 years of age, man. Do you know what I mean? With all that experience, ring IQ, and Canelo himself being a pure boxer. A lot of people, I don't know, man, when people talk about Canelo, it's like they don't really mention the boxing IQ, the boxing skill that this guy possesses. I'm a great admirer of Canelo Alverez and his boxing skills. Do you know what I mean? We should not like shy away from that. We should definitely recognize Canelo for his boxing. A lot of people feel like because Canelo is Mexican, brings that aggressiveness, brings that let's slag it out, let's have a fight kind of attitude in his fights here. Like they forget about the pure boxing. I remember watching Canelo against who is it? Lara. Was it Lara? He showed great skills there, great boxing skills against what's his name? When he fought Jacobs. When Canelo fought Jacobs, yeah. Again, showed great skills, man. Do you know what I mean? Great skills shown by Canelo. So Canelo is one of those fighters that he's a great boxer, man. We should not be dismissive of the skill set that Canelo possesses. Do you know what I mean? Hence why me, as a Crawford fan, I'm worried about this fight and I'm worried about the potential damage that could be done to Terrence Crawford. Do you know what I mean? Terrence Crawford is what? 36, 37 years old, yeah? Let's say this fight does happen with Canelo, which looks like it's certainly happening. It looks like it's definitely going to happen. Let's say this happens in September and Crawford comes up short. He gets flattened out. Let's say he does well. Yeah. Let's say he does well for the first 5 to 6 rounds, and then Canelo eventually, because of the size, gets to Bud and flattens. You know, that's mad damage to my guy. That's long-lasting damage to him. Yeah. Where does Crawford go from there? Do you know what I mean? Do people look at Crawford's legacy a bit funny? Do they look at his resume a bit funny? Do you know what I mean? Or will people just say, oh no, you know what? He dared to be great. He moved up, went all the way to 168 pounds, super middleweight, and you know, he fought one of the best of his era. He just came up short. Is that what people are going to be saying, or are you going to look at him different? Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of issue that I have with these type of fights. Do you know what I mean? A fighter dares to be great, but because they dare to be great, they go up, they get flattened out, they get badly beaten up or whatever. And all of a sudden, people start looking at them saying, yo, was he even great at all? Was he even any good? Do you know what I mean? It's happened to a lot of fighters. And I don't want that to happen to Terrence Crawford. But listen, Terrence Crawford, he himself in his heart, he believes that he can beat Saul Canelo Alvarez. And, you know, I'm sure his coaches, people that are advising him, they're looking at the fight, they're looking at the profile of Canelo and saying, you know what, we can take this guy on. We can take Canelo on. For me personally, I never wanted this fight to happen, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know what? And once everything is signed, the deal is done, both fighters get into camp, I want to drop videos. I'm going to do a breakdown video. Fight preview. I'm gonna do the old what you call it, the predictions and everything like that. It's too early. I want to see how Crawford builds his body. Like once he starts putting on weight, I want to see how he looks. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes you can put on that weight and it hampers you, innit? Because looking at this fight, it will actually be an advantage for Terrence Crawford to stay a little bit lighter, innit? So that when it comes to fight night, He's light on his feet. He's got the speed of a Canelo. Something like what Amir Khan tried to do to Canelo, which he wasn't successful, but it worked for the first 6 rounds. Maybe Crawford can implement that same game plan as Amir Khan, but because obviously Crawford is a superior boxer than Amir Khan, has better defense, can avoid the shots better, maybe he can actually go ahead and strategically implement that game plan all the way to the 12th round and finish the fight untouched. But the chances of that, the probabilities of that against someone like a Canelo, who is eventually going to step on his foot on a pedal and come forward, I don't think that's happening, man. There's no way Crawford goes into that ring, comes out unscathed. Do you know what I mean? Like, without getting touched by Canelo. So there's going to be moments in that fight where Crawford will have to bat on his gum shield and slug it out, man. And that's the problem. When you slug it out with Canelo at that weight division, there's only one winner, and that's going to be Saul Canelo Alverez. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm worried about Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, we saw him at 154 against Israel Modrimov, and to be honest, the weight difference made a difference in that fight as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, even though Bud won the fight, he did well, but he was getting touched by Israel Modrimov, man. He was getting touched up. Do you know what I mean? Israel Modrimov, he's not Canelo, innit? He's not even at the Canelo level. Although he's had, over 300 amateur fights and he's a very skilled fighter, but he's not at the level of the Canelo Alvarez. Now, Bud struggled at 154. Do you know what I mean? Now, imagine going all the way up to 168 and going up against an elite fighter like Canelo Alvarez. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But we have to command and respect Terrence Crawford for taking on a challenge and wanting to cement his legacy as one of the greatest fighters of all time. Because if he pulls this off and beats Canelo, oh my God, all of a sudden that top 5 greats of all time, we might have to just change it a little bit. There might be a few fighters that might have to drop out of that. Do you know what I mean? Because when it comes to one of the biggest fighters of this era, this generation, you're not getting any bigger than Saul Canelo Alvarez, man. Let's be real. I know he's got some haters out there, but you're not getting any bigger than Saul Canelo Alvarez. For me, he's the biggest superstar in boxing right now. And if Terrence Crawford can beat him at 168 pounds, which is going to be a tall order, it's a crazy challenge for him to even think about it. Many of the greatest fighters of all time in the past would not dare embark on this sort of journey. But Terrence Crawford is determined to get there. He wants to fight Canelo, and he believes in his heart of hearts that he can beat Canelo. Like, we have to respect him for that. And if he pulls it off, listen, man, we're having a completely different conversation, you know. But let's wait and see. They're still finalizing the paperwork, final details, crosses. You know, these guys are going to be signing paperwork, in the near future. Terrence wants it to happen. Grant him his wish. I wish him the best. But let me know in the comments what you think about this fight. How do you see the fight going if it does happen? Do you give Terrence Crawford any chance at all of beating Saul Canelo Alvarez, or do you just think like Canelo just too big, too skilled? Let me know in the comments. Let's have that conversation, man. Once again, thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports. I'm your boy Enzo. Please don't forget to like the video, drop a comment, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, because that's how you're going to help us to grow. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Stay blessed. Peace.